Okay, uh, everybody, I'm here with Drew from ShorePoint Productions today. Drew, could you just tell the people a little bit more about what you guys do at ShorePoint?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, Arian. So at ShorePoint Productions, we're a video marketing company, and we work with our clients in a couple different ways. We'll provide the production component. So if they say, "Hey, we need a video," we'll do everything from pre-production all the way through post-production. And we'll also work with clients in a way where an extension of their team and more of a video strategy partner. So if a client doesn't know what they need or what they're trying to have done, we want to learn all about their business, where their pain points are, and we'll provide the solutions necessary. So again, an extension of their team to figure out, how they can achieve their goals.
Awesome, awesome. Now, I want to kind of get into the lead generation aspect of things. What were you guys doing before working with us when it came to lead gen and getting new clients?
Yeah, so our business will be turning 8 years old come December 25, so a few months from now, and we built the business on referrals, from the ground up. And then what we started doing was implementing some outreach through LinkedIn, and this is a big relationship-based business, so it's tough. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of nurturing the leads and just developing those relationships. So we would get leads coming in, but wanting to have more of a consistent flow is really the reason why we reached out to you.
Awesome, awesome. And I know you mentioned like LinkedIn in terms of lead gen. How was that turning out? You guys were booking calls, or was it just not consistent, like you mentioned, or how was that?
We book calls. Since then we've implemented a better system when it comes to LinkedIn, so it can be fruitful. Absolutely, it takes time.
Hmm.
I personally am the business owner. We're a small business. We have several people working for us, and it takes time and resources to go on and look for leads, reach out, do the follow up, set up the calls, facilitate the calls, and then everything after the fact, right? So, is there opportunity on LinkedIn? Yeah, absolutely. Out of any other social platform, for us, a B2B business, that is the best platform for us to be on.
Hmm.
But, considering the cold email outreach was something that really piqued our interest when we came across, your business model and what you offer.
Yeah, yeah. LinkedIn, it's a great place to be at. Great place to network with people. But like you said, it does also it's kind of like content and outreach combined because people will reply to you if you have like a decent profile, you have content on there. But that does take time to build up. Whereas something like email, where you can just instantly send out thousands of emails, and it's not as expensive as ads, let's say, but you don't necessarily have to build up the content aspect of it. It's a totally different game, and that's probably the reason why you found that email seemed to work really well for you guys as well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, with any other social platform, it's not just outreach because it's management.
Hmm.
You're developing content, you're giving insight into the business, so it's powerful in a lot of ways. But again, it just takes time to nurture the relationships on there, and that's really how you want to look at it, as opposed to leads, where with the email, outreach that you've been doing, we're getting consistent leads coming in, which is
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah, and I wanted to kind of get into that aspect now. So, what have been the result? I know we've been working together for about like 4 months now, but what's been the results so far that we've gotten for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, starting with the first month, I mean, the experience has been great. The results, we're getting calls booked. I think last month we had our best month, where it's just back to back days, discovery calls, sales calls, and a lot of leads. So it took a little while to ramp up, but it's been a fantastic experience where we're closing deals now, and it's also been good because having the business built on referrals, the conversations that I've had consistently are a little bit different than your cold lead. So did we have leads coming in prior? Yeah, absolutely. Was it as a constant flow? Like working with you? No. So for those sales calls that we're getting our reps in and able to really master the art of sales and discovery calls.
Yeah, yeah, and what I've noticed across the board with other clients as well, they say the exact same thing. Like, oh, it was so easy to close referral deals, but then when we got, cold leads from us, let's say, they found that they had to improve their sales, which is a great skill to have. It'll help you like lead your team better. It'll help you communicate better to clients, and so it's definitely something where we've noticed this commonality across all of our clients, that having consistent cold leads come in more and more and more improves your sales game so much better. And it's more so like just interpersonal communications and how you connect with other humans, right? And that's all business is, and it's a great skill to improve on.
Yeah, absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah. What do you think's been like the biggest impact of working with us then?
Biggest impact? I think a couple of things, right? So, with the business, when you have a business built on referrals, it's great. But there, in this line of work, you always want a constant flow of leads coming in. So there's certainly a peace of mind that is there. Obviously there's a revenue that comes with closing deals, which is great. And then, outside the deals that you don't close, we have a lot of things in the pot right now that we're just waiting to land. So had a lot of conversations the past month where, closed a couple deals, and now there are a couple other ones that we're just waiting, and we're going to be following up in the next month or so, because they're waiting for the time to be right, but they're ready. So outside of that, the way that we facilitate our discovery calls is we do try to provide value and insight into some strategy. So, outside of closing deals, we're also generating and building relationships from there, because I've had conversations with a number of the leads that you've booked, and they're so happy with how we run things, and we're not pushy to sell. We provide value, and so with that, they're saying, hey, if there's anyone else that we know, we'll refer you. We'll give them your name.
Yeah, awesome. And I always ask this question: where did you first hear about us? And it'll be pretty funny.
So this is like I asked you, I'm like, how did you find me? And like, this is the process. This is how it works. You ended up in my inbox, and it's crazy because I remember getting your email, and I get so much junk. I get so many different emails coming in left and right about like, hey, we could do this, we could build your business. What kind of agency do you have? XYZ. I get that on LinkedIn as well. But your emails, for whatever the reason was, I responded to your email, and we set up the call, and we went from there.
Yeah, that's we I guess we practice what we preach, right? Like just the same way that we got you on the call, we do that for your own business. We get you in touch with other business owners, right? So literally just practice what we preach. Yeah. And I guess what made you want to decide to do business with us? Like, what was it when we got on the call that you were just kind of like, you know what? I think Aryan's my guy. I want to work with his agency. Let's see, because you said yourself, like, you get a lot of emails, and so what made ours different, and what made you want to just be like, okay, I'm gonna work with this guy?
Yeah, I mean, one, your energy, your demeanor, personally who you are, you sold yourself. Outside of that, though, what you were offering was really huge. When we signed with you, you were running a promotion on, sign with us and you get a couple calls free. And, that was incentive to, okay, let's, trial run, we're not outlaying a whole lot of money here. And your business model on your product, how the service that you offer, it's scalable. And that's what I like, because if we have a slow month or the next month, I could say, hey, let's scale back how many calls we're going to be landing, and so it gives a little bit more comfort. And for starting a relationship, to see how you work, to see how effective it was nice to say, hey, all right, let's try this out. Let's see how it goes. We're not outlaying a whole lot of capital for here. Let's give it a go. And, the onboarding process was simple. Going through for the first month, you setting up the first campaign that we were running, it was a great experience. And, overall, fantastic experience. I mean, even, it's been about 4 months now. The conversations that you and I have had, I think overall, like you're landing the calls, you're very hands-on with the communication. It's more than just, hey, we're going to book you a call. It's, hey, here's a lead. You facilitate the conversation back and forth. You're emailing with them, having a conversation, giving insight in what we do. And, if you have questions, you reach out directly through Slack. And not only that, you're on top of, everything that's going on. You're following up. I have a busy life, and admittedly so, like, apologies for when I don't respond to you, because I know there are days where, like, all right, where's Drew? But, because I'm in the field, I'm doing this, I'm a dad, X, Y, Z, I have a family, all that. So it gets busy. But you are always on top of me. Like, you've become an extension of the team. Like 100%, you are an extension of the team. I can reach out to you, and you're very responsive. Communication has been via Slack, but also through text. So it's been a fantastic experience overall. I mean, I've been, preaching your name and what you do to anyone who'll listen. I'm part of a collective of other people in my industry. We have, group coaching calls and so forth. So I bring up what you do, and it piques a lot of people's interest. I don't know if anyone's reached out to you or signed, but, what you do is proven to be effective. And, I want to scale the business a bit more, and I plan on having you part of the team, in the long run for sure.
Awesome. Glad to be on the ride, man. And really the last question I have is, I guess, why should someone listening or watching, if they're like a video agency like you or any other type of agency or B2B business, why should they take action and book a call with us right now?
Oh man. All right. So specifically for my industry, but any industry, right? Like whatever business you have, the investment in where you spend your money is important, right? In my industry, there are a lot of shiny objects. You could spend money on a brand new camera, and that's $5-10 grand out the door. New lens, new light, whatever the case is. I know a lot of people in the industry where they're constantly, let me rework my website, let me put money here, let me put money there. But you really want to be putting money where you're going to be getting the leads coming in, where you're going to be getting the conversations that are happening. Because once you start doing that, you start building your business, the clientele, and then it's just that flywheel effect where things just ramp up, they spool up, and then you're busy, and you get busier. Then if you want to splurge and get that dream camera that you want, absolutely then. But the cost of what your service is, if I would say, if you are debating, allocate that money for 3 months just to give you guys a trial run to see how effective everything is, and you'll see that like I said, the proof is in the pudding. It's how you found me. And take that money and just put it towards you, give it a go, and you're gonna get results. And if you're not, if you don't close deals at first, that's, you get your reps in, but it's effective. You get people coming in, knocking on your door, and that traffic at that point is a numbers game. And you just, you keep putting money towards getting those leads. Because I've done, we've ran Google ads, we've ran boosted posts on different platforms, and, this is something that has definitely proven to be effective. So 100% give you a go, at least for a few months, at the very least.
Awesome. Alrighty then. That pretty much wraps up this client interview. Is there anything else you want to say, Drew, before we wrap? I guess end things off.
One of the questions that you mentioned was, there anything that you can improve on? One thing that I've appreciated is that even in the conversations that we have, obviously it's all revolving around closing leads and booking calls, getting calls on the calendar, or whatnot. But you've also provided practical advice and tips on, follow up on, different little things here and there, which, for me by nature, that's not my thing, that outreach, like that's never been my, forte, we'll say. So you bring that experience, and you also help impart that wisdom into, your clients to help them close the calls. You've given suggestion on, how to, send the proposals and, set up another call, or, you're always giving advice. So, that is very much appreciated as well. Awesome.
Thank you so much. Well, anybody watching this, if you want similar results to how basically what we got for Drew, click the link below. You can book a time to me, and we can see if you're a good fit. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you. Awesome.